sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chewelah Flooring.
Chewelah Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chewelah Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Dell Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at CheWelahFlooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at CheWelahFlooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
Good morning, everybody. This is your KCHW Morning Show. We are here on a Friday with myself, Chuck Ritchie, and we have Craig McQuain sitting next to us over here in the studio. Good morning, Craig. How are you?
I am up and awake and alert and feeling great.
Outstanding. If you can't notice, I'm losing my voice a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It is
That's why it's so important that I talk more today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's okay for today. I'm a bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for making it in today, Chuck. We appreciate you and all you do here for our community.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed yet, it's allergy season out there, and my I take those out daily allergy pills, and you miss 4 or 5 days in a row, and then you got a week of catching up and making up to do afterwards until they start working again.
Yeah.
Super fun. Super fun.
I have my bouts with allergies as well, but it fortunately this year I haven't had as bad. Maybe it's I don't know. I can't really predict when it's going to be bad or not, but I can see all that yellow in the air though, and all that pine pollen. So in the where the puddles dry out, you can see the yellow ring.
Then a couple mornings ago, went outside in the morning, and there was this beautiful yellow haze filling the air. Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
So all of you allergy sufferers out there, I sympathize with you. We're on the same team, man. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off with the weather here, if I can make it through this. Today we're looking at a high of 81 degrees with sunny skies all day long. It's going to be clear skies overnight with a low of 53 degrees and again, clear skies. 88 and 50 tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. Sunday, we have a high of 74 with a 47-degree overnight low and mostly sunny skies. Let's see, Monday, we have mostly sunny skies again, 75 and 47, looking about the same. Then on Tuesday, we have the sun again. We're not a lot of rain in the forecast for us. So 76 and 48 on Tuesday. Wednesday of next week, high of 77, 52 overnight. Then on Thursday, partly cloudy skies, 75 for your high and 49 degrees for that overnight low. And then, let's see, let's go ahead and get some birthdays out of the way here. We have our Chewelah Valley Lions Club calendar for today, the 30th. Now, we don't have any birthdays, but we have 2 anniversaries. We have Jim and Joan Cisco, then Dave and Lisa Jensen. Both have anniversaries today. Good, happy anniversary, everybody. Do we have we don't have an anniversary song, do we?
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Oh, see, it works with both, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, your bass worked really well with my whatever that was.
Happy anniversary.
Well, we're missing our co-host, Paula.
We are. We're still working on some legal stuff. We're not going to mention why on the air.
Well, no, but
just for legal reasons.
Legalities,
but, Yeah, it's campaign season and all that. So.
Yeah. Don't get all political, Chuck.
No, I won't. I won't at all. The only politics I need right now is in the form of a hot liquid. That's
Well, and I mean, school lunch, I'm guessing the morning lunches are going to be about the same for the kiddos, right?
Yeah.
The breakfast, I know that it's Pizza Ripper Day, or I'm sorry, Pizza Day on
It-
Friday, and it's been pretty consistent. I can't find the link on my computer, so I'm not going to
Oh,
really
okay,
try.
okay.
But there's usually 3 options in the breakfast, if I remember correctly.
Let's see if you can get this. We're gonna quiz Craig on the local
Quiche is not one of
No,
them.
quiche. That would be great if they did quiche in schools.
Right?
I would
It's
like
a
that.
nice quiche.
Oh, but you know what? You're closer with that than the usual breakfast.
Really?
Yeah, you are.
Is there like a yogurt
No.
option in there too? No.
Well, there is yogurt options and 2 of them. All right, go ahead.
Some kind of bread,
It is egg based.
egg based.
Actually, it's an omelet omelet and hash brown.
Oh
That's
wow! So it is a quiche. It's a kid quiche.
Yeah, exactly.
Something a little more palatable. Just smother it with ketchup, and they're gonna eat it.
Oh yeah. Did you put ketchup on your eggs as a kid?
Yeah, I like sugar. I'm a sugar guy.
Do you still put ketchup on your eggs?
Not typically. I usually season them now, with salt and
Okay,
pepper.
that's good.
But, yeah.
That's good.
Well, and I like my eggs like over easy or over medium is how I order them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that way you get them with the over easy. I think is with the whites a little bit undercooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like mine over medium.
Over medium.
Yeah, where you get that sort of that silky, egg that comes out. Ooh, it's so good. So good.
Sometimes you just dial it right in.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
I never did it as a kid. I hated the runny egg yolks. I was like, don't give me raw eggs. And then all of a sudden something flipped as an adult, and I'm like, oh, give me all that raw egg.
Well, and it's like you eat a hard-boiled egg, right? And you get to the yolk part, and it's like you take a bite into it, and sometimes it just like you don't want to take it. You don't want to inhale at the wrong time because it could almost like be the last breath you take, right? Because it just like turns to powder in your mouth. I've never really liked that about yolks, but I mean when they're just perfectly undercooked, or I can't think of the correct term for that, but.
I like my hard-boiled eggs where there's just a little dot still.
Exactly
of
right.
soft, yeah.
You overdid it if it turns to chalk in your mouth like that.
Yeah. And I've tried to do the soft-boiled egg, where you boil it and the yolk's still runny, but you can still peel it, and I just can't quite get that right.
Right.
Where you get that jammy middle.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm hungry. Thanks, Craig.
I
know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chihuahua School District.
Yeah, for
Gosh.
sure. Well, enjoy your omelets this morning, kiddos.
All right. And then for lunch, you are wrong. It is not Pizza Ripper Day. You're close, though. You're close. It's pizza. It's pizza day.
Well, it's like the pizza rippers. That must have been for Halloween or something, but it's stuck.
I think you just like saying pizza rippers. All right, so let's go ahead and get some events out of the way here before we get to the Northern Light Spotlight. Let me see if I can find that. Ooh, my calendar is not loading here. Okay, there we go. All right, so today we have the Chamber of Commerce meeting is happening over at the casino. You have about another half an hour to make it over there. Adult pickleball is at the golf course at 243 Parr Place. That's happening from 8:30 to 11:30. Then the Chihuahua Farmers Market today from 11 a.m. to 3:30. We will be there, and I will try to not talk as much as possible. But that's probably
You'll
a lie.
be doing a mime skit.
Right? That's probably a lie. I just won't be able to speak by the end of the day. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Oh, I was looking at the wrong week. And you know what? That's about it for today. Nothing else on the community calendar for today. I know you're going to have some stuff for us.
Well, and that's what I'm looking for, the community calendar, and oh, there we go with that. I got Chihuahua's event, or Chihuahua.org events.
Yeah, Chihuahua.org, and that is, or Chihuahua.events rather, Chihuahua.events.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, the Chihuahua.org, that's the
Old one, right?
That's the chamber calendar. Yeah, that's the old chamber calendar. The Chihuahua.events, if you want us to list your event on the air, if you want us to talk about it, or if you just want to get your event on so the community can see it, we now have a unified one place for all community calendar, and that is Chihuahua.events. So if you want to check out things happening in the area, and that's not just Chihuahua, if you're in the surrounding areas, you can also get your events put on that calendar as well. Anything of interest to us here, you can go to Chihuahua.events. Anyone can submit their own calendar item and then it has to be approved. If you are an organization, you can become a partner. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to give us your logo. We'll get the logo on the calendar, and then you get one person within your organization that can post events without needing to be approved or moderated. So
Very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, this is so clean looking.
Isn't it?
I love it.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah. For some reason, the internet or this computer is not liking me today because it's taken just a little. No wonder you have everything preloaded on this usually.
Right?
I'm like, wow.
Well, we had major network problems on Wednesday, and the power went out, and nobody's used that computer since before then. So you got to come in and reboot the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Very cool.
And our computers here are not new, so sometimes that takes a minute. All right, moving on to Saturday, we have the Small Business Expo.
That's happening at Guess Elementary, which is at 405 East Lincoln Ave in Chewelah, and it's going from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Chamber of Commerce is hosting a Small Business Expo. This is an opportunity to connect with local business, discover new services, and support our community entrepreneurs. There will be door prizes, vendors, food, and more. Chuck, are you going to be present at this?
I am going to be there. I'll be there set up, and I'll be...
you won't be talking, but you'll be there.
I'm supposed to be announcing prizes and stuff, but we probably will have the Jenkins High School cheerleaders there, and we'll make them do the announcements.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Delegate a little bit,
Exactly.
right?
Kids, can you make an announcement?
And
for
then
me?
rolling around to Sunday, we've got the All Ages Blues Jam happening at Fired Up Pizza from 4 to 7 p.m. Grab your axe, get your voice ready, get your dancing shoes on, head on down to Fired Up Pizza, dance in the streets, enjoy Chewelah on a beautiful summer day or spring-ish, summerish day.
I would go full on summer.
Okay.
It feels like summer, doesn't
I
it?
mean, it's amazing how all of a sudden it just like you got that 2 weeks to like 70s, and then all of a sudden it's 90.
Oh, yeah.
There's like no transition. It's just
Well, I think doesn't summer officially begin in about 3 weeks from now?
yeah.
The temperatures we've been getting, it feels like summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the sun, like yesterday, it was overcast, but as soon as that sun came out, it was like 20 degrees warmer.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
It's that point right now to where you drive under a shadow and it instantly gets cooler in the car,
Yeah. Yeah, precisely.
Drops 20 degrees in a half a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then let's go ahead and pick a couple things in the future here. We have the first Thursday Art Walk next week. There's going to be, I don't have the poster in front of me with all the different events, but I know we have Chris Davis, and someone had posted the other artist that's going to be at the Spotlight Gallery.
Is there going to be
Huff Memorial Center?
Okay, sweet.
And then the featured artist of the month at Trails End Gallery is the Planera event, and there were bunches and bunches of people out painting last weekend. Saw some really cool stuff.
So I saw
out
a
there.
collage of a few of those paintings, and it was one was of a vantage, different vantage points from Chewelah. Is what it looked like.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, and when does that happen? That's on Art Walk, which is the 5th of June.
Exactly.
On Thursday.
And then on the Wednesday the 4th at 4 p.m. right here on KCHW, we'll have Tim Nielsen and some artists in here for the About the Arts, our monthly art talk, the day before the Art Walk.
Very cool.
And then they do that, and then they go right over to the brewery for the other art talk over there. So
okay,
yeah. All right, I'm quickly losing my voice here.
Yeah, I noticed that, Chuck. You're just kind of maybe we need to get some oxygen in here just so you can breathe. Yeah. You're not my father,
right, man.
My father is Dirt Road Doug, and you can catch his radio show on Wednesday here at KCHW. So after right before the Art Walk, the day before the Art Walk.
Nice segue. What time is that? Tell us what time that is.
Oh, when is that? It goes from 8 to 10, doesn't it?
8 to 10. There you go.
Yeah, you got to catch his radio show. He likes to put on some local, national, and worldwide blues artists on his show. So
yeah, he does some good stuff.
He does.
He really does. He really does. And he's a kick in the pants to be around.
He's probably listening right now. Actually, he's out and digging in his garden, being my green thumb dad.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, are we ready to move to the spotlight? Should we get that going?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. We do have a special guest coming up after the break. We have Deb the Wolf coming up. She's a local country artist that we're going to talk about and get some more information about her and listen to some of her music. I'm excited to have her on. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, Deborah is awesome. She grew up around here. Her parents were really good friends with my oldest brother, and so I've known Jack and Tamara for a really long time. So it's great to have Deborah joining us this morning.
Very cool.
And the farmers market's going on today.
It is.
Yeah, that's great. So our friend Christopher's got a shrimp shack, a shrimp shack going.
The Shrimp Shack.
And
yeah.
he's been there a few weeks in a row now, I think, with his Hawaiian style garlic shrimp. So he wants to let everybody know to come on down to the Chihuahua Farmers Market on Friday from 11 to 3:30 and get some of his wonderful shrimp.
Yeah, it was really good. I had some.
Yeah, he likes the Hawaiian styled foods. So he spent some time DJing and being a bartender over in Hawaii and brings that culinary experience here to Chihuahua. Isn't that awesome?
And I didn't know. Apparently, it's a thing over there where they eat the shells.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. They are served shells.
We have
on,
enough
but
calcium in our water here. We don't need
Right.
to eat the shells.
enough of something in the water here. But you know what I appreciated? So when you pull the shells off, there's all the seasonings and all the garlic on the shells, and then that falls off on your rice, and then it's like a second meal afterwards. Yeah, it's actually really good. So.
Oh, smart thinking.
Yeah. And then it leaves the shrimp. They get the flavor, but they're not all crusty and overcooked, so they stay nice and moist. It's actually pretty nice. So.
I did want to, how I like to stay on track. I did want to kind of go on a tangent
Go
just
for
because
it.
I thought of something, and this is definitely in. And it's fine to be on the air. I actually talked to DJ Evergreen yesterday.
Yeah.
And he wanted to reach out to you and just let you know that he is locked in for Summerfest if you
Perfect.
still need that
Well,
to happen.
I have talked to him about it. So.
Okay. Just making sure.
But
Yeah.
I was going to reach back out and confirm because it was a casual conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's why he felt that too, and so he just wanted to, make sure that we're still got laser focus happening here at KCHW.
Outstanding. That was on my brain yesterday. I'm like, I got to reach back out to him and make sure because we talked about it in a meeting. And they're like, "You're sure he's coming, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's coming."
So I was what I've noticed is with this little segment, it's nice to have Paula over here on the computer because I have her like deep dive into something while I'm talking about other things, and I think that works out really well because she is so good at doing that, research real quick and
Yes, she is.
finding the essence of an event really quickly. And so this next one that I found would be one that I would normally hand over to her, but let me just tell you a little bit about this. We've got Two Spirit Powwow happening at Spokane Falls. This is the third annual. There's going to be cash prizes. The schedule of the event, opening ceremony is at 2 p.m. at Riverfront Park in Spokane, Washington. And what's so funny is I look at these posters and, usually the date would just jump out at you, but it's not actually jumping out at me right now.
And that's in Spokane?
Yeah, that's at Spokane. Maybe look that up, Chuck, because
Yeah.
this might be just an announcement and it's not actually a poster for it. I just see something that looks interesting and I'm like, ooh, let's put that into the spotlight. That would be something cool to talk about.
I'm seeing a ton of information about the one that happened on 2023.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so let's see, Best Friends Team Dance. These are the categories. They've got Tiny Tots, Owl Dance, Rabbit Dance, Powwow, Limbo, Sweep Your Teepee, Trick Song Special, War Hoop, Lulu Contest, Quarter Special, Winner Take All, Powwow Break Dance, Round Dance, Happy Dance, Oklahoma Two-Step, Door Prizes, Scavenger hunts. Okay, so that's a bunch of the things they got going on. We've got a bunch of different people that are going to be there, a bunch of different dancers. I just think the regalia and everything they're wearing in this poster is just so very cool.
Nice.
But again, so maybe look that up yourself and find out when that is. Spokane Falls' third annual Two Spirit Powwow.
That is May 31st.
May 31st.
2025, and that's at Eastern Washington University.
Oh, okay.
Or is it? No, that's who's putting it on. Let's see.
So opening ceremony is at 2 p.m. probably on that day at Riverfront Park in Spokane, Washington.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's going to be a beautiful setting for that. Bringing some culture into Spokane, which is, I think, really, there's, a huge Native culture that, definitely got, stifled quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to embrace our local Native culture.
Well, and this one, the Two Spirit Powwow. So the concept of Two Spirit, and this been controversial recently, and about transgender people, the LGBT community. In the Native American culture, the Two Spirits have been talked about since the early days. It's always been a part of their culture, and that is how they refer to people that are trans or identify as different genders, they're considered two spirits, and it's been a part of Native American culture throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a celebration of that.
Yeah.
On May 31st. Yeah. So cool stuff. And they're I think given the nature of the celebration, their outfits, their clothes they wear are a little more colorful.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Less gender specific, right?
Yeah. It's cool stuff. This guy who's dancing here, he's got gorgeous long hair and beautiful pink flowing Native American garb. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the regalia is just, I mean, it's just so, like, the art, to me, it's just beautiful art. Like, I've really found myself just drawn into, like, the native coastal art, like, that you see out on the San Juans and stuff, and the whales, and
Yeah.
and I just love that.
So Will here says, Doug says sounds good. I'm sure he's talking about omelets. Or maybe the eggs. Talking about making eggs.
Or he's talking about his show.
Oh, maybe his show. That does sound good. And Will says he isn't going to be there this week or next week. I don't know who he was talking about. This is in the Facebook comments.
He isn't going to be here.
And then he says he's getting ready to bring the newborn home. Oh, that's probably Chris at the Shrimp Shack.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about getting some shrimp today. I thought their baby was already home.
Yeah, I just saw it was put into the thread, so I
Okay,
figured
yeah.
but we'll let him know, Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be back, so we're gonna miss you, but
Yeah.
we understand. Families matters.
Oh, and that newborn, I've seen pictures. The baby's adorable.
Yeah. All right, next event that I'm gonna plug here is the 10th annual Jer Fest. This is commemorating the 40th wedding anniversary of Jerry and Deanne. This is happening at Chan's Red Dragon on Saturday, June 21st. There's a $10 cover. It's 21 and over with ID. It's sponsoring by Empowering People. And live music's going to be by D.A. and the Blue Notes. Hoodoo, You Do, Internal Jones, and the Bobby Patterson Band 5. So, Jerfest will once again benefit Sam Peterson's nonprofit, the Invictus Project, developing and providing treatments for PTSD and traumatic brain injury.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So it's for a good cause. It's cool to see Chan's in Spokane. They do a lot of live music. They have a jam every Thursday night that starts at about, I think it starts at 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to make it down there when I can.
Oh,
Last
nice.
night I wasn't feeling quite up for it, but I would have liked to make it down there. But so this Saturday, John Rosado, he's a blues and rock guitar soloist, is going to be playing at Fired Up Brewing.
Is that going to be in Colville? Yeah, because Fired Up Brewing is in Colville. Fired Up Pizza
Well,
is here,
so
right?
I'm sorry. This is actually from last week.
Oh.
Yeah, I did not look at the date, so this happened last week. I'm wondering where he's... Johnny, if you're listening in, you should let us know where you're playing this week. He seems to be staying pretty busy, so...
Very cool. Did you find the right week now?
Am I on the wrong week? Is that what's going on here? I think this is the... No, this is the correct week.
Okay.
Sometimes like the dates are so small in those posters that I don't fact check. I got to fact check myself.
You gotta check yourself, Craig.
Got to check myself
before you wreck yourself.
So, Chuck, are you ready for Yep Kenham celebration?
Yeah, man.
Are you ready for it? This is
ready.
happening.
I'm ready.
All right, the Vincent Fund is helping making this possible. This is July 18th, 19th, and 20th in Yep Kenham Park. So that's the week after Summerfest here. Does that sound right?
And what were the dates again?
July 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Yes,
so
it is.
the following week, and actually we're bringing in a couple different guests that are going to be talking about this celebration. But some of the bands that there's on Friday, they're going to have Justin Johnson, Dave and Ray, Mystic Phoenix, Kudu, Marimba Drum and Dance, Time Travelers, Hannah Jackson, and the Sarah Brown Band. Moving to Saturday, they're going to have Step Brothers Band, who's actually our next week's guests here, I think, or one of the next. No, not next week.
We're going to be off we're not going to do the morning show next week. I'll be traveling.
That's right.
And luckily we didn't. You didn't have a guest scheduled, so that
I
worked
did.
out.
I know. Isn't that? I was trying to get Igor, honestly.
Oh, that'd have been fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? We get these. make travel plans and then you forget to make plans around your travel plans. Or you like, you're booking hotel rooms and we're going to be gone this time. And then you forget to tell anybody else
Right.
or make plans to do it. So
Yeah, completely. And then moving on, so Saturday at Yet Kenham, we got Step Brothers, Irish Dancers, Stevens County Stompers, On Call Cowboys, Mystic Phoenix, Midnight Run, Sonic Groove, and the Mean Tweets. Sunday, Jason Perry, Jukebox Review, Murphy's Legacy, Eric Larson Band, and Jaeger Jensen Band. So that's the Yet Kenham celebration happening in Colville, July 18th, 19th, and 20th. Put that on your calendar.
very cool. Is that Jason Perry? That's not the school superintendent here, is it?
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
I don't believe so.
I was like, I didn't know he was a performer.
And again, we want to thank the Vincent Fund for putting that to, helping fund that. And then also, it looks like Toyota's a sponsor who also sponsors a lot of what the radio station does.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they're
thank
great
you. Thank you to
sponsors.
our sponsors. Moving on up, our friend
side.
Just Plain Darren is shared his events with us. So Darren Hindlebrandt, Just Plain Darren shows. He's going to be playing at the Riddler tonight from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That is 21 and over in downtown Spokane. He'll be at Shooters Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. and that's all ages. I'm not sure where Shooters is. Maybe Chuck could look into Shooters, probably Spokane somewhere. And then South Hill Grill on Sunday at 8:30. That is also all ages. And then rolling around to June 5th on Thursday, he's going to be at the QQ Sushi and Kitchen. That's Darren Hindlebrandt, Just Plain Darren.
The Shooter Sports Bar and Grill is in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Oh, okay. So he's going to be in Coeur d'Alene at Shooters May 31st at 7 p.m. That's all ages.
I kind of like this kind of hanging back and being the wingman over here. I like it.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
like it.
so on Monday, I'm sorry, not on Monday. I guess it would be on a Monday. On Monday the 30th
Monday the 30th.
of May, we're having Igor and the Red Elvises play at the Chewelah Center for the Arts.
Yes.
This is going to be an awesome show. My band Two Stones, One Bird is going to open.
Yeah.
And we haven't played a gig in a while, so it's going to be our first gig coming out of back into the busy season. So
Right.
I'm excited about that.
As Rob is all healed up and ready to go, ready to rock.
and I'm encouraging him because he wants to play. You know how Rob is; he just loves to play the guitar. But at the same time, we were talking yesterday. I'm like, Rob, you just, I'm booking specifically around not booking our band because I know that you want to play, but we got to get you good, 100% before we do that. So
The guy literally had his like alien style, had his chest ripped open.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
by a doctor, but still, not
Yeah,
quite
Dr.
alien.
Weaver, right?
Not quite alien.
Sigourney
style.
Weaver did it. Yeah,
right.
I got your reference. There.
Paging Dr. Weaver. Dr. Weaver, please come to the OR. Yeah.
You have started the what is it? The computer like saying that it's about the ship is about ready to explode. Like
You have started the self-destruct mode.
yeah, it's all like pleasant.
Self-destruct in 10, 9.
Yeah.
We're all going to die, man. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so John, I knew John Rosado did post on here. He's like, I'm a blues rock musician and solo act for now. I would greatly prefer to be in the company of a real band, but
Ooh.
I've been working through to get the people I need around me. I hoped to shake up the world like Jimmy and Stevie before me. So he's referring to Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan, I'm assuming. They were my idols, and someday you will know me.
Ooh.
So we've got a shredder out there, and he's willing to talk it. So I'm sure he's going to walk it,
Very cool.
right?
I wonder, we shouldn't talk about it on the air, but what if people did start doing almost like classifieds, looking for bandmates and musicians on there?
Yeah, and it's kind of like he's asking right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Nice.
He's looking for some people to fill out his sound.
So I just got a message from Ryan at the farmer's market. Their musician for the day isn't able to make it, so there will be no music at the farmer's market.
Oh,
he just
man,
said he's gonna stick the radio station booth where the farmer's market usually is, but maybe we could get an impromptu somebody down there to play some music today at the market. We'll have.
Well, if Deborah was in town, I would say Deborah should
yeah.
go down there, but she's going to actually be on Zoom. So
If you're out there, I'll bring a DI box with me, and I'm gonna have a sound system set up. So
there you go.
maybe we could do like an open jam at the Friday market.
That is, hey, is there anybody out there? Like, message us in the thread and let us know that you're going to make it down there and plug into the radio station sound system and play some music for the people at the farmers market.
We may be asking for trouble right now with that though too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to say yes. You're like, I'm sorry, we don't let that. Well, think about something that's for the community, right?
We're gonna need 3 references, sound samples, your birth history.
Maybe I can get Rashad Eggleston to fly in to do it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
By 11.
In his private jet.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he has one.
Of course he does.
It's shaped like a cello.
Yeah. So live music with Chase Champagne at Smokesmiths in Coeur d'Alene is going to be happening Saturday, June 7th from 5:30 to 8:30. If you're not familiar with Smokesmiths, that is in our sister city over in northern Idaho called Sandpoint, which is a collection of a bunch of different art shops and restaurants, and they've got a ski resort just out of town called Schweitzer. So it's very similar to our setting here in Chewelah.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, and they have also the huge lake there. That's a big difference.
I do like there's a lot of great restaurants in Sandpoint.
There is. Yeah. And so if you're looking for a little, day trip, getaway, something different, head over to Sandpoint. Check out Chase on June 17th at Smokesmiths. Chase is actually going to be one of our guests upcoming in July, I believe, is when I have him scheduled.
Outstanding.
Or wait, no, it was in that list. I think it's the last Friday show of this month or of June.
Okay.
He's going to be on, and he'll be talking about the Yep Kemen days or whatever.
Awesome.
At the Colville Park. So yeah, he's our musician friend from Kettle Falls and Colville.
I still am interested to know how that park got its name. The Yip Cannon Park, where that came from.
Look it up, Chuck.
I'm going to look it up. Maybe
I've asked Paula to do it, but she's not here. So
Paula probably already knows.
Yeah, she does probably.
Yeah.
I think we've already talked about it, honestly. But me, I'm like on to the next thing and not listening to what people say. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm just looking at what I'm going to say next. You just talk over there.
Yeah, you just talk. I'm not listening to you right now. Live Jam hosted by myself at Tricks on Highway 2. That's happening tonight, May 30th. 8 p.m. is the start time. McQueen Music Family is what's putting that on. So
very nice.
It's something we're going to be doing every other Friday from basically for the summertime. So June 13th and 27th, July 11th and 25th, we'll be at Tricks jamming some tunes. I've got Dylan Ashbaugh playing drums with me.
Nice.
Got Eli Christian playing bass. Those guys are kind of rounding out the house band. Of course, my buddy Lefty Fields likes to come in and do some of his awesome shred over the top of that. Dave Allen from DA and the Blue Notes mentioned that he's going to try to make it up there and jam with us. So he's a very accomplished local blues performer. Actually, my first paying gig outside of Chewelah in Spokane when I was 19, I played in DA and the Cruisers band.
Oh, cool.
With my dad and Lynn Miner. That's how I got the gig, because I knew a couple seasoned pros that got me in there, and I was playing on my Jackson PS1 metal style electric Strat guitar that had terrible intonation, but they still let me sit in and play, and it was a fun time. I really enjoyed that.
How old were you then?
19.
19.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just a baby.
I was just a baby. Got me started young.
So really quick here, I did look this up. In 1914, the Colville Chamber of Commerce sponsored the first Yep Kenem. That means harvest time, good powwow, or good time.
Sweet.
And this was during the 3 days of festivities. There was a large native village, parades, and a big ball held at the Masonic Temple. So that is where the origination of Yep Kenem came from. A celebration, meaning harvest time or good time.
Very cool. Thanks for looking that up, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Good times, everybody.
So, Springdale Frontier Days Rodeo, established in 1975. Awesome vendors, the best beer garden, tasty food, the best fans in the stands. This is happening Saturday, June 7th and Sunday, June 8th.
Nice.
Gate prices are $15 for adults. Seniors 60 and up are $13. Youth 6 to 12 are $13. Entries open May 21st. To enter, call or text 509-237-3756. Please do not contact before May 21st. Again, that's if you want to enter the rodeo, call 509-237-3756. And don't do it before May 21st.
Well, it's a good thing it's May 30th.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. And then, there's a QR code on here. So if you're looking for that poster, it's on the Northern Lights Spotlight on Facebook. That's the group that we pull these events off of. On Saturday, Craig and the Brats are going to be at the Rusty Putter at the Chewelah Golf and Country Club from 6 to 8 p.m. Our good friend Will Lee is going to be joining us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, and that is this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday.
So tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. And that's, again, McQuain Music Family is going to be busy. We got 2 things happening Friday and Saturday this week.
Don't you usually?
I usually do too. Oh, and then Craig Meyer karaoke, of course.
Sometimes 2 or 3 things happening on the same day.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of heads to the dragon, right?
There are. There are.
So on Saturday after I get done up at the golf course, I'm going to come down and sing some songs at karaoke at the Oasis. So come join me down there. Should be a really good time.
Isn't that Cerberus? Is that Cerberus? You cut the head off and another one grows back, or 2 more grow back. Something like that.
Or it's Patrick off of SpongeBob. Starfish. They grow back. So I found a artist that's touring around the area. His name is Yotes, Yotes. He's hitting 3 states in his first 4 stops on the road to the Ruckus Tour. Here's where you can catch me. Friday, May 30th, Walla Walla at the T-Post Tavern in Walla Walla at 9 p.m., Then Saturday, May 31st, Hermiston, Oregon, at the Midway Bar and Grill at 8 p.m. Sunday, June 1st, he'll be in Coeur d'Alene at Lakers Inn at 8 p.m. Then Monday, June 3rd, in Leavenworth at the Icicle Brewery. Don't forget, this tour culminates with the best Little Fest in Eastern Oregon, Ruckus in the Boonies. So look this guy up. He's an independent artist that's out touring, doing some cool stuff.
Man, I had a ruckus in the boonies once, but little Cream took care of that.
Oh, man.
Sorry. It's allergies, man. It's making me say things I shouldn't say.
Yeah, I know. You're doing good. You're being the side guy. This is fun. So Liam Russell has a bunch of dates coming up this season. Let's see what he's got coming up this weekend. He's going to be at Smokesmith's Sandpoint from 6 to 8 p.m. on May 30th, which is tonight. So go check out Liam Russell. June 1st, he's going to be at the Iron Horse Bar and Grill in Spokane Valley at 4:30. So 2 gigs coming up.
Do you believe it's May 30th already?
I don't. I was just noticing that. I'm trying to reprogram my mind.
Tomorrow is June. That first something about that puts a little panic in me. I don't know what it is. It seems like there's some deadline that I'm missing.
Yeah, we've got a month for Red Elvises. We got to get on that.
Oh yeah.
And then Summerfest is right after that, so we got to tighten up all the hatches for that.
Oh yeah. Well, Summerfest is nice because I've had that scheduled out a long time ago.
Yeah, we still got to do the singer series though. So you delegated that first hour and a half to me, and
then that's not my concern, is it?
It's not your concern. I'm gonna put you in there. Chuck's gonna be doing his opera.
I'll make sure to lose my allergy pills for a while.
Maybe some Barry White. I'll have you do some Barry White.
I don't think I could even attempt to sing opera right now, but I do that when I warm up a little bit, and it's funny. Sometimes I hear myself in my recording, and I'm like, man, I might actually be able to sing. Yeah.
Well, here I'm just winding down and we're getting close to our break time too. So let me get these last couple things in, and then we're gonna get Deborah Stark, Deb the Wolf.
Deb the Wolf, I love it.
Yeah. Our local country singer. She's going to do a little interview, and we're going to play some of her songs. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. But Big Sky Drinkery presents chart-topping, award-winning artists, the Joel Ashley Band, and Allison Joy Williams and Indigo Edge, Friday, June 27th at 7 p.m. You can find the Big Sky Drinkery at 5510 North Market Street, Spokane, Washington, United States. That's in our local city. And the cover is $5. And she was one of our Northern Light Spotlight guests.
I was going to say, I'd go just for Allison Williams.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's amazing. We've been putting a lot of her stuff. A lot of our DJs have been playing her music. She kind of flows well with the blues night and the rock night. And I listened to her a little bit on Mark's show on Friday night a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I even recorded myself driving down the road, pointing at the stereo with her song playing. It said KCHW 102.7, and
so awesome.
And I sent it to her. Yeah, she was appreciating it.
Yeah,
it was
that's
fun.
great.
It was fun.
All right, Town and Country Days in Kettle Falls is happening the 6th and 7th of June. On Friday, June 6th, they're going to have the Time Travelers, Kettle Falls Jazz Band, Planetary Refugees, and Chipped and Broken. Then turning around to Saturday, the bands they're going to have is the SC Stompers, or actually, they're probably dancers, right? They're not just all. These are just the performances,
they're
necessarily
cloggers.
bands.
They're clog dancers.
There's some
yeah.
stompers, so they're cloggers, and then they're gonna have some Kettle Falls gymnastics, the Harian dancer or Harian. I can't really see it. I'm trying. Family Circle, Jukebox Review, Kevin Brown and the Beloved Country, and Murphy's Legacy. So check that out, the 6th and 7th of June, Town and Country Days in Kettle Falls, Washington. And that concludes everything for the Northern Light Spotlight. Yay, I got through it. And so just want to let everybody out there that's listening, if you're interested in submitting an event for the Northern Light Spotlight, find the Northern Light Spotlight on Facebook. It's a group. It's connected to KCHW 102.7, and we use it as a way to let you get your event heard on the airwaves and on our streaming platform.
There you go. There you go. Thanks, Craig.
Hey, you're welcome.
Appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a break. We're going to listen to some news, thank our sponsors, and bring on Deb the Wolf.
Yeah.
And she's going to be joining us for the second half of the show. If you are listening online, there's a few of you out there. I see you on my meter. We're going to be speaking with Deb a little bit offline here just to get her lined up, and then we'll go ahead and cut back into our news. All right, you're listening to KCHW 102.7. We'll be right back. All right, Deb. We are sorry. This is Chuck. I'm losing my voice a little bit, having a allergy attack. It's hay fever season.
I suck that it is.
So we are streaming right now online. We're off the air, but I just want to give you a little heads up of what's going to happen here, and then we'll get back into the news. So we're going to play the news, and we'll play our sponsors. You'll hear the intro music coming up, and then I will intro us back in, switch the cameras over, and we'll be on the air.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. We'll be
Thanks,
right back.
Chuck.
Estimated 277,000 students pursuing primarily undergraduate and graduate degrees, China ranks only behind India among foreign countries with the highest number of students attending college in the U.S. Next to Mississippi, a state that is feeling the impact of federal funding cuts to HIV prevention programs that are sweeping the South. That's according to reporting from KFF Health News.
For years, federal dollars have been the backbone of HIV prevention and testing efforts in the state, where infection rates remain disproportionately high. Now, as funding evaporates, organizations like My Brother's Keeper and the Southern AIDS Coalition say the consequences could be dire. June Gibson, CEO of My Brother's Keeper, describes the abrupt loss of funds.
So it's been pretty devastating to us to not have that support that we've had. Throughout the years, we built programs around the structure of the federal government and state government as relates to HIV and STD prevention. And now that structure that we've had for practically 20 years is gone.
The CDC has said it remains committed to ending HIV despite current fiscal realities. But Gibson says the funding cuts have already forced her group to close Gulfport services and reduce free testing statewide. Mississippi already leads the nation in sexually transmitted disease rates. This story was produced with original reporting from Amy Maxman for KFF Health News. I'm Tremel Gomes.
And an influx of data center infrastructure in neighboring Virginia will likely leave the mountain state with higher energy bills, according to a new report from the Institute for Energy Economics and Financial Analysis.
Regional grid operator PJM has proposed building 2 new high-voltage transmission lines to increase power capacity for data centers beginning in 2027. Both lines would cut through parts of West Virginia, says Kathy Kunkel with the Institute. She explains data centers are massive computing facilities used by artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and other large-scale computing industries. West Virginia ratepayers are served by subsidiaries of 2 utilities, First Energy and American Electric Power.
We found that West Virginia ratepayers are going to be contributing over $440 million to the cost of those transmission lines, even though the benefit is to data centers and the tech industry.
Kunkel notes that the multi-million-dollar price tag for the lines was determined by estimating the annual cost or revenue requirement of each of the 2 transmission lines during their useful life, and then allocating the costs to the utilities. Nadia Ramlagan reporting.
This is Public News Service. As families in Michigan and elsewhere struggle with daily living expenses, bills introduced earlier this month could alleviate their financial burden.
Senate Bills 308 and 313, also called the Building Blocks Plan, would provide a $550 tax credit to working families with children up to age 3. Another feature is the RX Kids Plan, a $1,500 cash allowance during pregnancy and $500 monthly through the child's first year. Senator Sylvia Santana acknowledges that as child care and grocery costs rise, wages have not been sufficient to sustain a family.
What we're doing with this package of bills is making sure that families don't have those concerns when it comes to being able to sustain their family financially. So whether it be cutting the taxes for working families that don't receive a lot of income, I think that's really important to being able to get back to a place where they can feel supported in our state.
Santana, who sponsored the RX Kids Plan, thinks the focus should be on the baby rather than worrying about affording diapers or rent. Since 2015, Michigan has lost 40% of its child care capacity as young workers leave the workforce. I'm Terry D. reporting.
And meeting America's future energy demands requires big decisions by utilities and policymakers about the best way to do it.
Mitchell Tech has just hired a new instructor to lead its wind turbine technology program, which had been paused for a reset. Vice President for Academic Affairs Scott Fossum says there's a lot of demand for jobs in this field, and they want to prepare students for newer skills needed, such as repairing wind towers that have been operating for years.
There's so many wind farms around South Dakota, upper Midwest. They're still going to need technicians to make sure that everything is up and running. They still can be functional.
South Dakota often ranks second in the nation for wind energy generation. I'm Mike Moen.
And finally, as New York lawmakers revisit the idea of having a medical aid in dying law, studies show racial disparities in end-of-life care options.
Research finds Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders are less likely to know about or use hospice care, and this population is second highest in the nation in New York. And de Guzman with the Washington, D.C. Mayor's Office is the son of Filipino immigrants. He says cultural beliefs as well as language can be barriers to conversations about death and dying.
Because our communities don't speak English at the same rates as other communities do. Being able to talk to doctors is a problem. Health insurers, especially within the context of death or dying legislation.
Many have marked AANH and PI Heritage Month in May. New York's medical aid and dying law passed the state assembly this month and awaits action in the Senate. If it passes, New York would be the 11th state, along with Washington, D.C., to enact such legislation. I'm Edwin J. Vieira.
This is Mike Clifford for Public News Service, member and listener supported. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
It's 8:13.
Your KCHW morning show is made possible by donations from
Colville Toyota. Colville Toyota, located at 160 West 3rd Avenue in Colville, offers new and used vehicle sales and service. Vehicle sales is open 8:30 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with a Toyota Express Maintenance Center open 7:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information on Colville Toyota's vehicle inventory and services is available at colvilletoyota.com. A small-town dealership with a big heart.
and by Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
Your mic was off, sir.
Yes, it was. I need to put my shades back on. It's bright in here, man. You got all the lights on.
I do. I'm realizing that now that you said it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the KCHW Morning Show. We are back with myself, Chuck Ritchie, Craig McQueen, and we have Deb the Wolf joining us. Do I refer to you as Deb the Wolf or Miss or Mrs. Wolf?
Mrs. Wolf.
Okay, Mrs.
No,
Wolf.
so Deb the Wolf is my stage name. So when I'm performing, that's how I'll announce myself. But in casual conversation, you can call me Deb.
Okay, Deb. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you are a country singer from you're from the area here, right? Originally?
Yeah. I grew up in Valley.
Yeah. So where are you at now?
I'm out in the woods near Cheney Spangle, just outside of Spokane. So I didn't go too far, but I still like that kind of small town country feel. So I work in Spokane downtown, and then I've got kind of a nice country life out here towards Cheney.
You get a little respite from that. That's nice.
Yes, best of both worlds.
So are you performing actively right now? I take it, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. What do you have coming up?
Well, I've got so Wednesday, June 11th, I'll be playing at the Kendall Yards Night Market from 7 to 8:30 with a fiddle player, Suzanne, who I've been playing with recently. And then we also have a show coming up Saturday, June 28th at the Rocket Market on the South Hill in Spokane from 7 to 9.
Very cool. So I was listening to a little bit of your music, and how would you classify your music, or would you? I would just. It sounded like this really sort of old school country to me.
Yeah, I like to think I'm kind of helping to revive the era of Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson, maybe with a little bit of a modern twist and a little bit of a twist of humor. That's something I always really appreciated about the old country guys, is that they didn't take themselves too seriously for the most part.
No, they had that fun. You just like people you want to just like kind of sit down and have a beverage with,
Yep, absolutely.
But at the same time, they put their heart into it, and I think with a lot of the more modern stuff, I think that's kind of it's not. I mean, it sounds great. It's beautiful and everything is absolutely perfect, but it's missing the heart. I feel,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
I feel the same. I listen to and appreciate a lot of the newer
Mhm.
country, but there's something about listening to the old country that just, yeah, it's got some type of soul, like a simplistic kind of pure feeling to it that brings my heart some joy.
Yeah, and there's a resurgence of that. I think the '90s took us in this sort of heavily produced sort of it kind of felt like pop music basically.
Right, yeah, country's
Um,
definitely went pop, like, if you listen
yeah,
to it, it's just like you can't really the between, say, like, rock and pop and country, like, just they all sound overproduced and,
yeah,
basically the same, like, similar anyway,
and
so
it's not even just the country genre. It's all the music is again in the it just felt like well, I think the '80s was a big step towards that, but I love seeing a lot of this sort of more raw, I guess, organic, natural music that you would say that is really sort of influencing the scene, especially if you listen online, if you follow a bunch of the different series online. There's a lot of this sort of resurgence of just real music for the sake of music, and not so much trying to make it this technical masterpiece.
mm.
Yeah, as I watch society as the years go by, I totally agree with you that
Hmm.
90s, early 2000s, very overproduced, not just limited to makeup, right? There's
Right.
Mhm.
makeups or music, makeup styles, fashion is very curated, very end
Hmm.
product, and I think the way that society is moving is towards authenticity, the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the produced, the human to human interaction. It's kind of cool to see things swing in that way.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things that's scary. One of my, again, I'm like a broken record. I talk about like the NPR Tiny Desk series. Oh, he's laughing at me, and I think I think NPR in general has gone a long way in recent years to bring back a lot of, they've really worked hard to sort of push the idea of really bringing back real music for the sake of the music, and not so much money making or entertainment, and they want to provide people with real experiences. And I'm a little scared for the future of NPR, but I really love. I don't want to make it political, but I really love that sort of what they've done to help bring back that real, uh, authentic music scene.
Well, and so what I've noticed in over the past weekend, and this is something that I've noticed in the industry itself, is that there's a lot of artists out there that have their own original music up. It's really
Yeah.
not that hard as far as from an individual standpoint to self-produce, get your music up on
Yeah.
Spotify. That kind of stuff is very attainable for a lot of people. Well, what you have is you have artists that are performing on big stages
Hmm.
with no band, and they basically come in with either a computer or they have a thumb drive that has all their music on it, and they just basically sing on top of their track. And I mean, some styles of music work better for that. Like hip hop, it makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire a whole band to back me up. Well, maybe on certain shows, but for the most part, you're gonna just use a backing track and then flow your lyrics on top, which is not an easy thing to do. I think people that like do that kind of poetry and are able to spit out all those words so fast, that's a skill that has to be practiced and
Hmm.
honed. You can't just do it off the cuff. I mean, you can learn how to do it off the cuff, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to do that, I believe.
Yeah.
So I see the talent in it, but at the same time, I really appreciate it when a full band of musicians gets up there and they basically create the music from the air. There's
Mhm.
nothing pre-recorded, nothing. And I mean, I like to use a looper, but the difference there is like I'm actually creating that loop as I play. It's a live performance,
Yeah.
and it might be repeating what I played a second ago, but I'm not going to pre-record something and then bring it and then have it as my backing track. I mean, there's some style of music where it's really cool and it's really a great show when it's orchestrated that way. But I feel that that's kind of music is kind of losing the the authenticity that we're talking about, where it's like, hey, we're showing up and it's going to be one of the this performance is going to be its own performance. It's not going to be like it was last night, because this is the experience right now, what's happening in the moment. And I think that's important to keep art that way,
Exactly.
especially music. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Especially in the day of AI coming. I was
Mhm.
sitting with my eyelash lady. She does my extensions. Hey, Katie. But she was showing me this song that her daughter and her daughter's, I don't know, 6, 7.
Mhm.
Her daughter had used an app to create a song. And the song, it was hilarious, but she wasn't singing. She just talked to it and said, "Hey, make me a song about X, Y, and Z." And the computer just like spit out this song, which was like, a cute way to entertain kids, but
Mhm.
it kind of makes you start to wonder as you're seeing art come out, all different kinds of art, like, was this created by a human or is this computer generated?
Yeah. And we're still at a point where you can pretty much tell, but we're quickly coming to a point to where even if it's real humans in videos, it's getting harder and harder to tell. And we're just in the infancy of AI, and it's kind of scary coming up. And I think there's uses for it, but I think when it comes to music and art, I think we need to draw a line and put up a hard stance against using AI, because it's not so much that it's not great content. It hurts artists and musicians, and it takes people's livelihoods away.
Yeah, waters things down.
It does.
I was reading an article recently that was talking about, there's plenty of articles out there talking about the potential implications of AI, but one that I saw that was kind of uplifting was that potentially, as people, consumers of art, are starting to notice that this cookie cutter computer generated stuff, that they might be less likely in the future to be looking to their phone and the internet for entertainment, and more inclined to spend $10 and go out to a local show where they know that this is authentic. So, that would be kind of a cool outcome. But then I'm an optimist,
I like that. I like that take on it. I know I would be more likely to. So
Yeah, AI is like, the first thing you need to do is go buy a ticket for a show nearby.
Yeah.
They should just put it into the program, right? That it's like trying to get people out and doing things because it's good for the soul, it's good for the exercise, and yeah.
So Deb, let's get a little bit back to you here. So you're booking shows right now. I'm actually looking at your website. If you want to learn more about you, tell us about your website. Tell us where people can go to find out your information.
Absolutely. So my website is debthewolf.com. Pretty easy to remember with my stage name. But yeah, I put this thing together a couple years ago. I work full time in an office job, and so I probably play every couple weeks during the summer or spring season. But I was finding at my shows a couple years ago, people would say, "How do I find you?" And I'd say, "Okay, go to my Facebook page. It's DEBRAH Stark, and from there you can like see the shows, or my YouTube has like this URL." And it was, people were like kind of, and but people are oftentimes like enjoying a beverage during my shows, and
Oh,
so they're
yeah.
like, "Yeah, okay, lady." So I put the website together as a place to centralize everything. I made up some business cards, and now I just hand those things out like candy, and been seeing a lot of engagement.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So where does the name Deb the Wolf come from?
Well, the joke when I was growing up was that I was raised by a pack of wolves. Um, my parents they bred Siberian Huskies when I was growing up, and we just
Ooh.
really loved Huskies, Malamutes, wolf dogs. And so at any given time, we had this, big kind of kennel yard thing right outside my bedroom window with 7 or 8 Huskies in it at any given time. And when the church bell next door would ring, they'd all howl like a pack of wolves.
Aw.
Or every morning when the train went off at 5 a.m., which was fun. Yeah, I had one dog in particular, Trapper. He was looked just like a wolf. Here, there's a picture of him right here on my arm.
Aw.
But yeah, him and I were best friends, and I started to just feel like my spirit animal was a wolf. And that theme, I carried it with me throughout, growing up, and even at work. I had a big team. I nicknamed them the Wolf Pack. We'd all howl like a pack of wolves when we hit a
Nice.
target. And so as I was sitting there trying to think of a stage name, one time I was just telling someone, "I'm Deb the Wolf." And I was like, "Hey,
Deb the Wolf.
that'd be a cool email address." So I used that email address for a few years, and then I realized like, no, that's like a persona for me. So I stuck with it.
I love that.
That's cool. Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell stories about how you were like a wild child and running around, and people were like, "Oh man, she must have been raised in the wilderness."
Well, Valley. I mean, that's pretty close.
Yeah, we got into some trouble in Valley, that's for sure.
Nice. Isn't that a prerequisite for being a teenager in the Valley? You gotta cause a little bit of trouble.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
gosh,
You got to get away with it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of stories, not all of them are probably fit for the radio, but, you got to find a way to keep yourself busy in a town as small as Valley. One of my fondest, when people say, what did you do for fun out in Valley? And I said, well, there's this hill, it goes across the 231 down towards the gas station, and we'd find tires and we'd stand at the top of the hill and we'd roll the tire down and watch it go down.
Watch it hit one of the silicate trucks as it goes by. Yeah.
And then when you were done, you'd go get another tire and watch that roll down.
Yeah, pretty much. Or run back, get the same tire. We never hit anybody or anything like that.
Good.
We looked both ways,
Good,
but
good.
you got to find ways to keep yourself entertained in a town like that. Lots of bonfires out, at Marble Valley, and I don't know if that's where the kids go to hang out nowadays, but yeah, had some real good times out there.
I think it's TikTok now.
TikTok. Oh man.
Womp womp. Sorry.
That's just where all the kids are these days. That's kind of sad. Well, it's sad and probably good. The police probably appreciate it.
Well, honestly, there's not as many kids around the area. It doesn't seem like.
No, there's not.
I mean, like Jenkins High School class is small, and Valley School there's not that many graduating seniors there either. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know even my kids are like outside. Oh, like where there's sun and stuff. Gross.
Well, and I think personally, having grown up in Chihuahua is a big reason why I play music. It's because that filled a lot of the time. It's like playing music with my friends, and then at get-togethers around the fire, we'd be passing the acoustics around, and it's just what we did to have fun, and it's just kind of developed into not just something I do for fun, but it's something I do to make a little extra money. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't grow up in Valley, but I grew up in the Matanuska Valley in Alaska, and it's kind of very similar to here, especially as a teenager. And I think kids today, I don't think they know what bored is. They may think they're bored, but they're always busy doing something, or they always have their eyes on something. And some of the, I guess the best and worst moments in my childhood came out of sheer boredom. What can I do here? What can
Well, and I think some people
though.
look at boredom in a negative context,
Yeah.
right? I look at it as a chance to be creative.
Exactly.
So I embrace boredom.
Oh yeah.
As strange as that might seem, because I'm a busy guy. I do a lot of different things. So when I am bored, it's like, hey, count your blessings, right? It's like this little bit of boredom is maybe something that's going to inspire something new.
I wish I knew what boredom still felt like. I rarely get the chance. But.
Yeah, it's the thing I miss about the pre iPhone days is just that, it's time and space for your brain. Even just this morning, I was looking at my phone and my emails from work and my friends and supporters who want to watch the show, and it's my friend's birthday today, and I had about 10 people I had to reach out to prior to just this show,
Oh yeah.
and constant being available, and like it's almost borderline rude if you don't like call or text people back right away. I just don't think the human brain was really made to have that like level of stimulation all the time. So yeah, sitting down back in the good old days in Valley, Washington, reading a book and dreaming up ways to get into trouble or songs to write was simpler days, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I think it's important, like if you are, communicating over, messaging and all that, it's like it's best to kind of have your business hours. I know Chuck's pretty good about that. Like if it's after hours, I don't hear back from him until the next day. Typically, not always. Sometimes in the evening is a pretty good time to reach him. But I don't ever take it. I don't ever take it personal when somebody doesn't respond back to me, because I know we all got busy lives and like things come up, and it's like, hey, they might have got the message, but maybe they just didn't have the time to send a hey, I got that thumbs up kind of, just to know that we're on the same page. So
I will get back to you when I get back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like I know I'll hear for that from that one person when it's time. I just kind of like, yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, the flip side of that is that I do feel very loved when I look at my phone and I'm like, everybody wants to talk to me. When I've got the energy and I'm feeling it and I've got the time, I'm like, yeah, let's talk, I'll send you a funny GIF or we'll talk on the phone, I'll tell you about whatever dream I had last night. And when I don't have any energy, I'm like, whoa, texts are coming in and I'm like, yeah, just the bed.
meh, yeah, put that over.
So, I want to get to play a song from you here in a minute, but first I want to kind of touch back on this boredom thing and twist it a little bit here. I always put a question that I've wondered over and over in my head many years. It's a common question, like the whole, if you were on a stranded island, if you were deserted somewhere, what would you bring with you to fight the boredom? And I know my answer. Do you have is this something that other people think about too? Because I know my answer. I've thought about it for years, and it's very simple.
Huh. I've thought about like survival. I
Yeah.
thought, a little survival pack in my brain just in case that ever comes up. But as far as beating the boredom, I don't know, you get a stick and draw some pictures in the sand. You probably figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. You tell me your
You know-
answer. I'm gonna think about it for a
You know what
second.
I would want to have with me above
that?
and all else? A racquetball. A racquetball. You can get them
Yeah.
wet and they don't get soggy like a tennis ball. And I know when I was a kid, I could spend hours throwing a ball against a wall
Right.
and figuring out creative ways to throw it, creative ways to catch it. I could spend days actually just during the summertime, nothing else to do, throwing a ball against a wall.
Well, and like my dad has told me what the secret of happiness is.
What's that?
It's a bouncing ball.
Exactly. You can use it as a bobber. You can set up a makeshift fishing line and use
Brilliant.
it to catch fish.
Well,
you
and I
can-
mean, on like Castaway, what was his best friend? Wilson.
yeah.
Right.
And when that movie came out, I'm like, see, a ball.
Yeah.
That's what we need. All you need is a good ball. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, to state the obvious, it'd be nice to have a guitar if I was going to be
Yeah.
stuck on my own for a long time. That's one thing I don't think I could figure out how to make. I mean, maybe with enough years, maybe.
Well, and the
Right.
nice thing about being a vocalist, and that's one thing that I've always identified as a guitar player, but I really feel that I'm a vocalist. So to have the voice, and be able to sing, I think would be able to, just that alone would be a great thing to have.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to lose that, and some
Yeah.
people do though, but
Especially if you found a nice cave on your island that had really good acoustics.
Well,
Yeah,
and so and what's interesting is like when you're thinking music, like the melody basically leads into all the chord changes. It handles the rhythm, right? So everything's in the melody. So to learn the melody of a song vocally is like that, and if you can carry the whole tune with the melody and the vocals, with everything else can just kind of fall away. And that's kind of how I think about when I'm playing guitar now, because there's times when I'm playing solo and I'm like, oh, I really want to just nail the rhythm part, but at the same time I'm like, no, serve the song, and the song is the melody, so let the melody dictate the rhythm of the song. Because I'm not sticking to the click track like I would
Yeah.
with a band, because with the band you want to be all in sync and all right in time, but when it's your voice you have that freedom to be able to just kind of, I don't like the word wing it, but basically paint a picture with your music.
Would you sing about your time on the island, or would you sing about better times?
About the pontoon boat from
Right,
the sky
right. That you're hoping to build someday?
Right. Well, I did want to
and-
do a little shout out. Lily Moon's birthday's on
Mhm.
Sunday, and she commented on here. And let's see who else. Natasha Force says, "Good morning."
Good morning,
Matt
Natasha.
Parrish, yeah, good morning, Natasha. Matt Parrish says, "Happy Friday from Southern Oregon." He's from the Jenkins High School class of '85. And I
There you
also
go.
noticed that my dad commented. He says, "Music up at the Rusty Putter." That we're doing on Saturday, and then also Alison Joy Williams is a rising star. So
She really is.
yeah. So
So what were you saying, Deb?
Oh yeah, you were talking about the melody and the vocals kind of running
Yeah.
a song. I was just thinking about when I was a kid, I was, I'd sing all kinds of songs. I didn't know an instrument. My grandpa bought me a little tiny guitar at some point, and I didn't learn to play it. I would sing to anybody who would listen. And I saw Taylor Swift on the TV when I was about 15, and she's about the same age, and she's playing guitar. and she was singing, and it was like a whole song sound, you know, full
Mhm.
sound. Everybody was like looking at her, and then I was like, oh, I need an instrument. So that's actually the minute that I was inspired to pick up the guitar, because in my head, the melody's enough, but when you're out playing at a show, you know, I think people only want to hear so many a cappella songs before they're like, yeah, okay.
Right, yeah. Well, and I mean, yeah, I I kind of used to think that guitar was my main instrument, but then I just found out in my heart that it's actually my voice. Like that's my main instrument. So it's like no matter what instrument I'm playing, my voice will still carry. So I play bass and sing. I play drums and sing. I play mandolin and sing. I play guitar and sing. It doesn't matter what I'm playing because I'll figure out the right chords that go with it. I'm just you know, I have to know the song melodically to actually have it, if that makes sense.
It does,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, cool.
So I want to hear some of your music and melodies, Deb. You sent me 4 songs. Tell me one to pick right now, and what we're gonna listen to, and a little bit about the song.
How about Born Happy? I think that's probably my favorite song
Okay.
that I've recorded. And that one is you know, I think I got lucky when I was born, because there seems to be something in my brain where I just can't stay down for too long. Like a smile just creeps back up on my face, and I don't know who I was telling, or maybe it was to myself. I think I was just born happy. And so I wrote a song about it. It's kind of the theme song of my life, and sometimes a reminder to myself during harder times of like, no, you were born happy, Deb. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear it.
I am too. All right, here we go. Deb the Wolf, Born Happy.
I got lucky, 'cause I was born happy. When everybody's freaking out and getting sappy, I'll be skipping through the forest, filling up my cup and getting nourished. I have always been this way, ever since the day I was born. Thank the Lord, I was born happy. I've got buddies and I've got family who always seem to be so damn unhappy. Oh, their troubles make them weary, 'cause life just seems to be so very heavy. Oh, sometimes I feel it too, but I'm never all that blue, 'cause I was born, thank the Lord, I was born happy. I've got problems and I've got worries, but they always seem to leave me in a hurry, 'cause there's something in my brain juice that keeps away the anger and bad juju's. I have always been this way, ever since the day I was born. Thank the Lord, I was born happy. I've always been this way, ever since the day I was born. Thank the Lord, I was born happy. Yeehaw!
Nice. I love that. That was very happy.
Thank you. It makes me feel happy to listen to it.
That was great. That kind of we're talking about going back to this sort of old school vibe. That that brings me right back to like Patsy Cline and some of these really really early country singers.
Really?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I'm not a fan of modern country so much. Some of it, yes, but I love old school country, and that's just right up my alley right there. And I gotta say, one of the lines that stuck out to me though was "brain juice." I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we definitely drink our fair share of brain juice.
Right?
Yeah, something in there. My friend John always laughs when he hears that part of the song. It wasn't funny to me when I wrote it. To me it was just like, yeah, it's in my brain juice. But when I saw people starting to chuckle, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of funny.
No, yeah, that was fantastic. Great vibes. I could totally have that on my playlist. Driving down the street, the sun down, window down in the sun.
So my bandmate Rob Lee said, "Awesome tune for a Friday morning. I needed that today." So
I think we all need a little more happy.
yeah, yeah. I'm
Thanks,
I'm
Rob.
so I'm so happy that you agreed to come onto the show, Deborah. I wanted to learn more about you and your music. I mean, I've known your family, like your mom and dad, since I was a kid. So I never really got to know you all that well. I am good friends with Emily, your bestie, but I never, it's just because of haven't really crossed paths musically very often. So I was just really happy that you agreed to come on the show. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you guys asked me. It's such a pleasure to see the McQuain name pop up on my messages, even though we haven't gotten to talk too much over our lives. I when I think of your family, I get a warm fuzzy because I know there's really good vibes there.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, so he did bring up your bestie Emily. Now, did you grow up? You said your grandpa bought you a guitar when you were younger. Did you not grow up in a musical family?
No, I didn't grow up in a musical family. To my knowledge, up until a few years ago, I didn't think there was anyone I was even related to that was, into doing music. And I'll talk about Emily in a second. I'll
Okay,
get
okay,
there.
okay.
Love her to death. But what I learned recently is, I was watching some old videos of my grandma, um, and I found this like video of a family reunion up in the hills of Kentucky with all of these people playing banjos, and it's like very very like hills of Kentucky vibe, but and it was like this whole family that was playing music together, and so I was like, oh, that's where I get it.
That's awesome. And that was your grandma?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any idea she could do that before you saw that video?
Well, she wasn't playing, but it
Oh,
was
okay.
like her family in Kentucky. So
Hmm.
so yeah, it was pretty cool learning that there was some music that ran in my blood. But so yeah, when I was about 15, maybe 14, I met this gal, Emily Riddler, and we met on the first day of high school or high school orientation or something, and we figured out that we lived 13 minutes away from each other. She was up in Deer Lake, and I was, in Valley proper. And her and I started, it was actually on her TV that I had seen Taylor Swift. And her family's very musical, very wonderful to sit with them and see the family together playing. And so I started playing with her. We started off learning Alison Krauss, When You Say Nothing at All, three
Yep.
chords, D, A, G, A, whole song. And we sat there for forever, figuring that out. And through the years, her and I would play high school assemblies, was kind of where we had started. We ended up getting hired for weddings. I think we did a couple of funerals. We'd stand on the Steve Riddler's float during the parade for Chautauqua and
Nice.
wave, sing. And yeah, that's really, it was a blessing getting to be in that household a lot because, Steve sat me down. He's the one who taught me, when you harmonize, lower your voice a little bit, and all the little tips and tricks that you kind of learn over the years. He gave me a real good crash course for during my high school years for how to be a performer and a recording artist.
so really influential in becoming where you are today in your music. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. And I think it's important as you grow up to have those friendships that are like family, and I love that. Your extended family, your chosen family. Yeah. I I love that. So you know what I want to do though, after hearing that song, we only have about 12 minutes left in the show. I want to hear a couple more songs before we go. What we'll do is we'll go into a song now and we'll talk a little bit before we go out. And then as we end the show, let's end the show with another one of your songs. So go ahead. Of the music you picked me, what are we going to hear next?
Perfect. So if we got two songs left, I think we will start with This Face. And This Face, I actually haven't released that on Spotify yet. I've kind of been holding on to it. But that song is about, we grew up, like I said, in Valley, Washington, and we were, it was a nice, simple life, but I definitely always kind of had dreams that I would go out into the world when I grew up and like do something big. And so, I'd sit in my room and play my guitar and dream about who I was going to be. And so this song is kind of about my journey through building myself up to the person I wanted to be. And now, I feel really good about my life. I built a really killer career. I've built a really happy home with my husband Jason. I've got, wonderful network of friends. I've got my music career. And so, this song is kind of a tribute to all the hard work I put in to be the person that I wanted to be.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Deb the Wolf with This Face.
Told myself today I'm gonna write a song. I'll blow the crowd away and I'll finish strong. Locked up in my room, I tell myself it's true. I'm gonna write the greatest song, won't leave until I'm through. And once I'm through, I'm gonna be a champion just like I always knew. This face, this face, this face is gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna be a star. Gonna remember this face. I've gotta get to work, finding a new job. Gotta put away this bucket and this mop. Pay the rent, but my last dollar spent. I clean the floors and promise myself I will circumvent my circumstance. I can be a champion, just give myself a chance. This face, this face, this face is gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna fly so far. The world's gonna remember this face. I've gotta find a way. I'll make it there someday. The world's gonna remember this face.
Nice. That was great. I've noticed your music is the two songs we've heard. They're very uplifting, very upbeat. Is that pretty common throughout your music?
Yeah, I'd say probably 80% of my songs, if not more, are happy, you know. And I think all of them have like they subtly touch on the pain of the world, right? But it's really, I think we all have difficult times in our lives, and challenges that we
Absolutely.
face. And I really think that it's a choice to be happy. You have to choose to work towards it every single day. And so, I think acknowledging that there's pain, but finding the sunny side and the next, milestone to work towards is yeah, it's a theme in my life and it's a theme in my music.
I like that. I like that. And we could all use a little uplift in our lives. I think, especially you people if you tend to dwell on the negative, then it seems like it just seems like what you put out is what you get back. If,
Yeah,
if you
10
put out
times, yeah.
positivity in the
Mhm.
world, that's what you're going to get back. And I love to see that. Do you find that it is well received? Do people generally? I mean, you play for an audience, and I'm sure you look out, you see smiles all over the crowd. I'm sure that probably feeds it. Do you get that back from your audience a lot?
Oh yeah. I mean, gosh, there's no feeling like having a great audience that is
Yeah.
picking up what you're putting down and the radiant energy that shines back at me when they're watching and they're feeling it is that, there's nothing like it.
Absolutely.
Well, and I know from my own experience, doing working a lot at my music and just constantly going at it, just like I'm going to my job every day, right? But having somebody come up to me and just tell me that, hey, I found your music and it brought me out of a dark place that I was in my life, and then seeing other people that have seen my my trip to sobriety, and then kind of jumping onto that and seeing like, hey, wait, they've been sober for 2 years now, and maybe I wasn't the exact influence that got them there, but a little bit of what I was able to do kind of helped them believe that they could do it for themselves too. So, and I think it's important, that we gotta work together, and we gotta lift each other up just like we lift ourselves up, and it's important that we do that because it's a wild world.
It is.
That it is. Yeah, finding inspiration in each other is yeah, it's pretty cool. If you look, there's inspiration everywhere,
There is.
Look out
Mhm.
my window, I see a beautiful forest full of trees, birds chirping, looking into my computer, I'm seeing a couple radio dudes who are super happy I'm here. You
Sorry.
know,
That made me chuckle.
life sucks, but life is also pretty darn good. You just gotta kind of squint your eyes and look for it sometimes.
I don't remember who it was. I don't remember what the context was, but the meaning of it really kind of stuck out to me. It was a random celebrity. They were talking about someone came up to them and said, "I know you're probably tired of people saying this, but you inspired me to dot dot dot." And he stopped them. He said, "Hold on, I will never ever get tired of hearing that something I did improved somebody else's life." And
Yeah.
it was a beautiful statement, and it was just this idea that don't apologize for being inspired by somebody else's work or their
Mhm.
or their emotions. Just go with it and accept it, and nobody's gonna be tired of hearing about that. If you make somebody smile, if you make somebody's day, let them know. I think it's important.
Mhm.
Love that.
Yeah. All right. So we are about out of time for the day. Deb, I want to thank you so much for joining us. First of all, before we get out of here, what song are we going to end the show with?
So we will be ending the show with Local Watering Hole.
Okay.
And this is a song about, so during the pandemic, I really missed going out to the bar and playing music for people. And I think we all went like a little cuckoo bananas there for a minute.
I think everybody did. Yeah.
Yeah, we can own that. It's been enough time. But so my husband was working and I was out of work and I'm sitting around in my house and I was like, man, I miss my local watering hole. And so I used like cardboard boxes and things in my spare bedroom and I kind of built this like bar And I had like stuffed animals sitting there, and I had like a whiteboard with today's special. And I cranked up some like old country music, and I poured myself a drink, lit up a cigarette, and I was like, yeah, I'm at my local watering hole.
That's awesome.
Like, Deb's lost it. I eventually commissioned my good friend Forrest Govadier to build me an actual bar. So he actually built something later on. But yeah, I wrote a song about the experience because it's kind of funny, I thought.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So first of all, before we get out of here, I want to remind everyone to join in tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. We have the best classic rock and more with Old Man Mark live in the studio. From 8 to 10 p.m., we are trapped in the psychedelic era with The Hermit. Then from 10 to 11, we're going to stick around with The Hermit for Days of Confusion. We're going to be at the Farmer's Market a little bit later. You can come by, say hi, check us out. We're going to be playing some tunes for you. And we want everyone to have a great weekend. It's going to be some gorgeous weekend weather out there. Take your allergy pills. Don't be like me. But thank you guys so much. And Deb, again, thank you so much for joining us. Any parting words before we head out of here?
I appreciate you guys having me on so much. This has been such a great time. And thanks again.
All right. Well, say goodbye, everybody.
Yep. Take care, Deb, and we'll be seeing you down the trail.
All right. And we're going to leave you guys off with Deb the Wolf and the local watering hole. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Goodbye.
I sure do miss drinking at my local watering hole. It smells like dust and cigarettes. It makes me feel at home. And I'm a rambling kind of lady when my work's done for the day. It's Friday night and I just wanna play at my local watering hole. It feels like forever ago. I'd pick up my guitar and I'd be a star, and I wouldn't feel alone. Yodel-odel-lee, yodel-odel-oh. I sure miss my local watering hole. So I head back to my place, and in the spare bedroom I find me some materials and I build my own saloon. The bar's made out of cardboard and the table's just wood scraps. It ain't pretty and the service here is crap. At my local watering hole, right inside my own home, I pour a shot of whiskey and it heals my broken soul. Yodel-odel-lee, yodel-odel-oh. I'm drinking at my local watering hole. There's an ashtray on the table and there's antlers on the wall. My cats are in here scrapping. It's a classic tavern brawl. The lights are shining on me while I play my guitar. I have to say this is my kind of bar. At my local watering hole, right inside my own home, I pour a shot of whiskey and it heals my broken soul. Yodel-odel-lee, yodel-odel-oh. I'm drinking at my local watering hole. Yeehaw! Woo, doggy! Is it getting hot in here or is it just me? told myself today I'm gonna write a song. I'll blow the crowd away and I'll finish strong. Locked up in my room, I tell myself it's true. I'm gonna write the greatest song, won't leave until I'm through. And once I'm through, I'm gonna be a champion just like I always knew. This face, this face, this face is gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna fly so far. The world's gonna remember this face. I've gotta get to work, finding a new job. Gotta put away this bucket and this mop. Oh, I've gotta pay the rent, but my last dollar spent. I clean the floors and promise myself I will circumvent my circumstance. I can be a champion, just give myself a chance. This face, this face, this face is gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna fly so far. The world's gonna remember this face. I've gotta find a way. I'll make it there someday. The world's gonna remember this face.
It's 9:06.
Your KCHW Morning Show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center.